What if the end of trust wasn't the end of your relationship? Today we're talking about how to rebuild after infidelity and make your relationship stronger.
Do you think you're stronger than me?
Mentally.
Mm.
Welcome to the ANTD podcast. I'm your host, Amy Witters. This is my co-host and husband, D. Witters. You ready for this episode?
Yeah,
It's going to
baby.
be a doozy.
Let's help some people,
Let's
man.
go. You wide awake?
Oh, I'm ready.
Let's get it. We're going to go right into point one, which is build a new foundation on transparency and accountability. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Aye.
Aye, Captain. I think that if you do not build a new foundation, then you're just going to keep getting wiped out down to your old foundation. So I do think that having transparency, and accountability are good first two steps. How do you think I did that with you? How was I?
You didn't for a very long time. You denied, and lied.
Yeah, that's how
And
I
I
was
cried.
raised. That's how I was raised.
It wasn't until
Lie, and don't ever admit that you're wrong.
that's horrible.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think you need to have open communication. You need to set clear boundaries. You need to allow accountability. You need to answer those hard questions. I think you need to prove yourself through consistent actions. Have integrity, no more secrets.
What do you think is the most transparent thing I was like once we tore down everything and started like brand new?
I had to set boundaries of what I needed to rebuild the trust, and then you started doing those consistently over time. I think you were very remorseful once you really wanted to change and took accountability and was like, I'll give you whatever you want. I'll give you my passcodes. I'll quit. I'll go to barber school. I'll do whatever you want. I'll remarry you. I want to make it right between you and God. Like, you were willing to do whatever I needed over a long period of time.
So if somebody is going through this right now, if they're trying to rebuild their trust, what's one thing that you could tell them, like if it's a guy or a girl that got cheated on, what's one thing that just the first step to keep the accountability where it needs to, to start?
Set boundaries.
Well, what's the first one? What's one step? I feel like too many people are worried about doing everything all at once, and they need to realize it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time. It's not going to happen in one day. It's like, what's that saying? How do you eat a whale?
What?
How do you eat a whale? Or is it an elephant?
I don't know. I've never heard either saying.
One bite at a time.
Okay.
One step at a time, right?
So you want me to answer what's the
What's
main
the first step? Yeah, what's the first step?
The
Do you
cheater
remember?
has to tell the truth. You can't move
So that's
forward.
accountability, right?
Yeah, like I think the cheater needs to come clean, and then the person that's been cheated on has to decide if they are going to be able to even forgive and work on the relationship, because they might be like, yeah, this is too much for me. Bye.
Yeah.
Can't do it, son.
Yeah. How come you didn't just say bye?
I was young and dumb, and I didn't have any family out here or anything, and I didn't want to be at that job because you pooped where you ate, and everybody knew our business, and it was like the saga at where we worked, and it was very embarrassing for me, and I knew that I didn't want to work there anymore. I could have got her fired. I didn't. I was like, well, I may as well try. I don't got nobody out here. I got no family. I got really no friends. Like, I'm not going to have no job. Like, I may as well try to work on it. And then when we moved to San Diego, I was too angry, and you didn't want to deal with that, I don't think. And then you had people in your ear trying to get you to go back to the clubs. So that's eventually what happened. I wasn't ready to forgive you. I was too angry. We didn't talk about everything. It was like pulling teeth, trying to get you to tell me stuff that I needed to heal. And then you ended up going back to the club and did the total opposite of what you told me you were going to do. And then we broke up for a little bit.
I was really scared to be with you because you are like perfect. And
Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect.
How come every time I say that, you say that?
Because it's true. Nobody is perfect. The only person that was perfect was Jesus, and I'm not Jesus.
Well, what if my definition of perfect is you?
Okay. I'm not perfect though. So that's why anytime
That's
you say that,
according to you.
that is my.
According to you. How come I'm not allowed to just speak life into you? How come you gotta?
Because that's a lie. Nobody is perfect. I am flawed just like the next person. So it's not that's not a true statement.
To me, you're perfect though.
Okay, I'm perfect for you maybe. That
No,
makes
to me, you're
sense.
perfect.
Okay.
Everything, even your flaws, to me are perfect.
I feel like that is a
No, it's not.
lie. Okay.
Because even the stuff that you do that irritates the crap out of me, it makes me a better man. It makes me get better, right? I had to, before, when I was cheating on you, when I was doing everything the wrong way, everything you did, I would just be vindictive and get you back 100 times worse.
Yeah,
But,
but I didn't even do anything back then to like even warrant that. That's what's crazy.
well, I
Like you
disagree. I
getting
disagree with you.
okay, give me an example of something I did to you that made you feel like a semi validated in cheating on me,
I didn't say
please.
validated in cheating on you.
Okay, what made you feel like, ooh, I'm gonna get her back and go cheat?
No, I would just ignore. I'm not talking about the cheating part, vindictive. Obviously, you can't justify that. I'm talking about if you would do stuff like go to your ex's house and I'd find a picture in your phone that he took while you're at his house, then in my head, I'm like, oh, she cheated. And I wasn't even cheating on you at that point. So I would just do things. I wouldn't talk to you. I wouldn't answer my phone. I wasn't cheating on you at that point, but I would do vindictive things.
Okay.
Well, you just ask me a question. I'm proving it to you.
Okay.
And then now I'm the opposite. Now you'll literally cuss me out, repeat yourself 100 times about the same thing that you're mad about all night long, right? And it just makes me that this is the whole point to get back to why I said you're perfect to me is because you're doing all this stuff that irritates the crap out of me and you do it all the time, but it makes me a better person because it makes me have to figure out how I need to love you correctly to help you, right? So,
Did you repeatedly cheat on me because I gave my ex our dog back and like went over there and got my dog food and like went to go see my dog? Is that like the reason why it started aside from your friend lying on me about something I said?
no, I think the reason I cheated on you is because I was insecure. And you can't really, because if you're not insecure, little things like that is not going to bother you. And we were super young too. So, and I just had got out of a relationship for a long time where I was cheated on over 3 different times. And so I was just insecure, right? There's no like excuse or reason for what I did. It's not because you did, it's not tit for tat. That's not what it was. I used those things in the back of my head to build a case against you, but that's not good evidence to cheat on somebody. There's no reason that you could ever cheat on somebody, right? Or you should ever cheat on somebody.
No.
Yeah, so no. I think that because I feel like right now in your head, you're like, dang, is there a reason why? You're always in your head, was I not good enough? What did I do wrong? And that's just the type of person you are. You're always self evaluating. What did I do wrong? What can I do better? And you got to stop that because it has nothing to do with you. If somebody cheats, whoever's watching this, if they've been cheated on or if they're doing cheated, it's not because of what the other person did, right? You're just because you could walk away. If somebody hurts you or does something to you that bad, you don't have to cheat. You could just leave that person. You're trying to whatever the person hurt you and you're trying to hold on to a piece of that person that didn't hurt you while also doing stuff with somebody else. So it's like you're trying to you're like tied to multiple people when it's like if that person hurt you that bad, you shouldn't even be with him. There's no reason for you to cheat. I don't know if that makes sense.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay, I feel like we kind of got sidetracked. So,
Yeah, stop. The point I'm trying to make, stop telling me that you're not perfect. You might think you're not perfect, but I do. It's just like our kids, right? I'm telling them they're the best thing there ever was, right? They're the best to me. They're the best kids there ever was. Right? When I teach in the kids room at church, I'm telling those kids they are the best kids in the universe. Right? They are gonna say, I'm not the best there ever was, right? But I'm gonna tell them that. I don't ever want them. I want them to know that there's a person that believes in them and that thinks that way about them. So I do think you're perfect. I do think you're great. I do think you're awesome, and I am thankful for you, right? So stop saying that to me, please.
Are you done?
Yeah,
All right. So back to the point. You need to have transparency in order to rebuild the trust. If you're going to keep lying, then your relationship cannot move forward.
correct.
So you have to come up with practical ways to create accountability to where, I guess, to where that person doesn't feel controlled. But if they're the one that hurt you, then it's kind of like they have to be willing to do whatever you want. Yeah, obviously within reason. If I'm like, oh, I need to put a collar on you and a leash and walk you around, like obviously that's like an extreme. Like, bro, no.
Yeah, and then that's on the
So it's
person.
like, boundaries that both of you can agree on.
Yeah, that's on the person who was cheated on to not take advantage of that. If a person's coming to you and they're remorseful and they're showing you that they want to do the right thing, and then you say yes, because you have an option. You could say yes or no and walk
Mm-hmm.
away. If you say yes, then you need to play your part and do your role too, because it's going to take both of you coming together to work to get towards complete and total restoration.
Well, yeah, because if they're trying to do everything they can and you're still stuck staying bitter and not even trying to move forward, that's not going to help either.
If I cheated on you and then I come
Well,
back to
you
you,
did.
okay, I cheated on her and I'm sorry. And she said, yes, we can work things out.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope she's forgiven me. Sometimes I don't know. So I always say sorry 10 years later. Anyways, if I cheated on you and then I came to you and I spilled the beans and told you everything, and then you forgave me, and then you decided, yes, we're going to work towards staying together and we're going to commit towards staying together, and you start acting like hurt, right? And pissed off. And I'm trying everything I can to help you with that. And none of it's working. What should that person do?
That's a great question. Uh, I don't know. I don't know.
It's a great answer.
I don't know. I was in that situation initially where I was angry and I was too angry to forgive. And then what happened? You ended up cheating on me again. Now, is that necessarily going to happen to somebody watching this that is still angry and
I hope not.
yeah, I mean, is it a possibility? Yeah. And I think that someone that's been cheated on, that's a fear too. It's like you kind of have to walk on eggshells with that other person because you're afraid, like, oh, if I say something or act too angry, then they're just going to go out and cheat again. So I can't express how I really feel because I'm worried that they're just going to go leave me.
Why is it do you think that you people always have to express how they feel about something? Is it because they can't like take it internally and deal with it or solve the problem?
I think if you're upset about the cheating, and the person that cheated on you is doing everything that they can to try to like rebuild trust and do what it is that you want, and you're still angry, then that's healing that you have to do within yourself too. Like that goes into point two, which is you both have to heal individually and you have to heal together. So if you're saying that you're going to forgive that person and you really want to work on repairing the relationship, that means that even if I don't necessarily feel like forgiving that day, it's an action. So I'm going to force myself to be forgiving, to not be bitter, to not be resentful, to not be angry. And if I do have a question in regards to the cheating, then I'm asking you in a loving way. I'm not making you feel bad about it. I'm not like punishing you over and over and over again if I'm choosing to forgive you. Does that make sense? Like, well, you did this to me, so you can't do that. If you're trying to work through repairing the relationship and rebuilding the trust, and especially if that person is like, yes, I will do whatever you want, and they are like showing you that changed behavior, then if you're saying that you're committed and you're wanting to work on the relationship too, that forgiveness has to be a daily action, even when you don't feel like it, until eventually your feelings catch up and it becomes easy. And then you really have like fully forgiven.
And I think on the opposite end of that, the person who did the cheating needs to realize, like, bro, you cheated. You did like the ultimate betrayal, and you need to be patient. And these things, a lot of people like message us and they're like, how long is it going to take? It's like people are so caught up in, like, you need in that, and they need to get outside of
Well,
time.
it's because it's such a painful thing that you just want that pain to end. Like it messes with your nervous system. You can't eat, you can't sleep. You got the anxiety poops. You feel sick to your stomach all the time. Like it's horrible. It's like being tormented every day.
Yeah. And
It's a
then
real thing. And I think the average time that it takes to heal from a betrayal, cuz I don't think you ever fully heal. I mean,
I don't agree with that.
okay.
The Bible says that God can restore the years
No,
that
a
the
hundred
locusts have eaten.
percent. But I'm saying, like, even if you are fully healed, like me, for example, like I would say, yes, I'm fully healed, but there was an event that happened not that long ago where I felt like I had gotten cheated on all over again because of that trauma. And then you're like, oh damn, like maybe I'm not 100% because I feel like maybe I should be cool right now, and I'm not.
But that's two separate things. That's you're healed from the actual cheating, right? Because of my behavior, because I'm locked in. Like you literally could do or say anything to me, and I'm going to not go anywhere. I'm committed to you. I've shown that over the last whatever 6, 7 years. Like all the stuff we've been through, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. But you have that, right? What happened to you is you had a trigger, and then what we talked about last week, where it literally brings you back.
Yeah, like your
Your brain
experience.
doesn't know the difference
Yeah.
between when it happened, when it first happened, and when you got triggered. So
So it feels like it's happening
yeah,
in real time.
yeah, you have healed from the actual cheating, but you can't heal from that. It's just like if somebody got shot in front of you, and then another that gets brought up, right? Then you're gonna go right back to that time, that panic. It's just like if I think about my sister dying in the hospital, right? I'm gonna go right back to that night when I slept in the hospital and watched her dying all night, right? So it gets better. It's just like we talked about this all the time. It's if if you start lifting weights, the weights are going to be heavy, and then after a while you're going to get stronger. The weight actually never changes. You just get stronger and are
Hmm.
able to lift them more.
Hmm.
What's point number 2?
You have to heal individually so you can heal together. So if you feel like you have to talk about it all the time, maybe go to a counselor or like some wise counsel, a pastor, I don't know, a mentor, somebody that you're not like unloading on your partner all the time. And then they can help like guide you through it and help you heal from that. Me, I didn't have nobody like that. So I just talked to God all the time and got to hear from God for like the first time ever, like clearly what he wanted me to do, how he wanted to guide me, which sometimes it aggravates me that people want to be like, you're just saying that so that you could stay. Like, I don't like when people do that. Like, so you mean to tell me you know what God told me, like what the Holy Spirit told me? Because it would have been way easier for me to just be like, you know what? I ain't doing this anymore. I'll go find somebody else to be with that ain't going to do this to me.
Well, if you just look at your previous track record, the two or whatever dudes before me cheated on you, and you did leave them, and I'm sure you cared about them. I don't think you cared about them as much as you care about me, just because we've been like we're best friends, you
It
know?
was very easy for me to leave.
Yeah,
Like, no, no, there was no, oh, let's try to work it out. I was like, nope, mm-mm,
yeah,
goodbye.
yeah. And I don't think like like special or something. I think that God just has a plan. Obviously, if you look at what we're doing right now,
Right.
like this is not what we set out to do.
At
Like
all.
it was like, okay, I think we're Daniel, I think we're supposed to do a podcast. Then 6 months later, okay, let's do it. And then it's just all these pieces start to fall into place. And then God gets to you, like we get to be used by God to help other people.
100%.
So yeah, I think
But
when it comes to healing individually, it's hard when you. I think it's hard at first when you stay together after cheating or infidelity, because it's like you're having to heal individually, but you're still around the person you cheated on and you're around the person that cheated on you. So it's like you have to really make time to learn about yourself and examine yourself and have like this daily checklist at the end of the day before I close my eyes and go to sleep. I'm like, okay, did I get closer to God today? Did I get closer to my wife? Did I get closer to my kids? Like I have, okay, can I do better tomorrow if I get this chance to wake up? Yes. And then you just keep trying, like little by little. But I think that's one of the most important things. Whether you stay with a person or not, you need to learn how to heal on your own, and you need to work on yourself to make yourself better,
well,
whether it's
that's
for that person or for the next person.
I think that's part of the problem in general. A lot of people don't know how to even be alone, which is why a lot of the time these problems happen or cheating happens because people don't know how to just sit with themselves and take a good hard look at themselves, because even though you cheated and all that, I looked inward and was like, there's some things about myself that I probably need to work on and I probably need to change about myself in order to be a better person, but in order to also have a good relationship whenever that time comes. So it's self-reflection 100% too.
Yeah. And I think also, like,
Not that that makes it okay for somebody to cheat on you, but I'm just saying, like, definitely take a cold hard look at yourself as well, because everybody has things that they need to work on. There's always room for improvement.
well, I think that's what a real person does, right? Like a fake person will always point the finger at the other person. But like if you get fired from a job or whatever and you think it was the wrong thing to do, you need to look within and be like, was there things I did wrong? Is there things I could do better? It's the same thing. Like if you get cheated on or if you get left, like, okay, you didn't deserve that. And what can I do to become the best possible version of myself?
I think it allows you to look at things from your past or your childhood too that are traumas that you haven't healed from, that you need to heal from in order to not like bring that into the next relationship or like continue with the relationship that you're in if you decide to stay with the person that cheated. Because I think that was a big issue too. We hadn't dealt with those things. Like you hadn't dealt with your mom leaving when you were a kid and like your abandonment issues and stuff like that. And then I struggle with like I was bullied as a kid, so I never feel like I'm worthy and like, oh, this is why people treat me like this because I'm not worthy to be loved. And it's like those things you have to work through in order to move forward.
Which makes me believe in God even more because the odds of you coming from Buffalo, New York, me coming from San Diego, California, we are literally, what, 4 months? Our age difference is 4 months
No,
and
3 months
3 months,
and 2 days.
3 months and 2 days. Like we're close in age. I played football in college is the reason I came to Las Vegas. You were a singer is the reason you came to Las Vegas. We both end up working in the world's largest strip club, and then we end up together, and we're still together 17 years later, and we're still working through my abandonment issues and all the issues that you've had with people just like treating you like crap, and that's why you don't think you're good enough. And it's like you have to continually work through those things and continue to get better, even if it's just 0.01% at a time.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's point number three.
You have to create a new vision for the relationship. So I think you mentioned this in another episode, like uh, that relationship that you had, you can't go into. What'd you say? Like the relationship we had at 23, like we can't have that at 40 or something like that in the last
Yeah,
episode.
it's dead. It's just like if you
There
go
you go.
back to the first point, you have to start at a brand new foundation, right?
Hmm.
You don't want to build something on top of that old, crusty, broken
Yeah, I
relationship.
think you both need to let the other person know, like, okay, going forward, I need XYZ. Like, both of you. Is both of you working together? Is both of you serving the other person?
Which if you
to
could,
have that relationship.
and if you could, before you even start a relationship, establish these boundaries so that you don't end up cheating or you don't end up doing something that you're going to regret later. If you can establish, okay, this is what I want in a relationship. Okay, this is what I want in a relationship. And I think people are dumb. They're like, oh, this person's too controlling, when it's really like, I'm just trying. It's like we look at God like that. He has these boundaries that are good for us.
Boundaries keep you safe, man.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think you need to have a vision for your relationship.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're going forward to, this is our goal together. Like, we have a vision for this business we have a vision for our marriage, a vision for what we want our kids to learn. But you have to, like, and God will give you that vision. um, and if you don't know how to get that from God, you could literally go outside and go for a walk and just talk to God. And you're going to think you're crazy at first, but you're not. Like, if you just look around at everything that's been created, if you have kids, look at your kids, you got to know that God is real and just talk to him. He's your heavenly father, and he'll give you guidance. He'll show you which way to go. Like, he's been doing that for me forever. So,
Well, I think our faith is the main reason why our relationship completely changed, because when we were working at that club, we believed in God, but we weren't living for God.
nah.
It wasn't really until like we found a church community, we got plugged in, we started serving, we got baptized, like we were praying together, reading our Bibles together. Like it wasn't until we really made faith the foundation of our relationship that things like radically changed.
And I feel like we get attacked a lot more, and mentally, like, you get attacked a lot more. And like, I feel like the enemy knows exactly like what he thinks our weaknesses are, or what things our family's weaknesses have been since forever, so yeah, I think the closer you are to God, it's like the more you got to resist the devil so that he will flee from you. But yeah, I think that has to be the foundation. That has to be the new vision, right? If you messed up in whatever it is, it's never too late to come back from it. I
It's
mean,
all about making intentional effort and like prioritizing, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. What do you think our number one priority in our relationship is?
To put God above everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, that's the vision I have for our marriage, and I think you're on the same page with this, is like, if we could stay focused on Jesus, and that's it. We don't have to worry about what else happens. We just stay focused on him, and he will direct our paths. He'll show us which way to go.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Can't stop
She's
yawning.
sleepy. It's like 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, we could wrap it up.
I mean, that's the last point. I don't really have anything to add, you know? God is the reason that our marriage was saved 100%, because if he wouldn't have told me to stand and stay and show you his love for him, I don't know if I would have. And there were plenty of times I wanted to give up. And God was like, nah,
Can you
get up.
remember like a specific time where you were like done, and you heard God say that? Like, something had happened and you were like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah. I had found, I remember you were in the shower and I went through your phone. I don't know, I figured out the passcode somehow because I didn't have the passcode. And you were in the shower and I just was like scrolling, like, wow, he's like not only cheating on me, like he's cheating on the side chick too with all these other girls. But I just thought you were talking and like hanging out with these other girls, like stupidly. I was like, there's no way he's like having sex with these other girls beside this side girl. And at that point, I was like, I can't do this, man. Like, I can't do this anymore. It's just like finding stuff after, thing after thing after thing, and like trying to keep fighting and trying to convince yourself like that it's going to turn around. And at that point, I was like, I remember you came downstairs. I was like, I'm good, bruh. Like, I can't do this anymore. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, I saw all the messages in your phone. And I remember you left for work. And I even remember calling you, like, unalive myself or whatever. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And then I remember going into Christian's room and him being asleep, and he was just so peaceful, and like there were so many things that I had to deal with like his it wasn't even a diagnosis at that point, but like we had been going to therapies and things like that. And I just remember sitting on the ground in his room and just like, all right, bruh, I'm going to do this for you, man. I don't want you to grow up in a broken home. I don't want you to have to choose between your mom and your dad. Like, all right, I'm going to try to stick this out. And then I remember going back in my room to try to fall asleep, and God was like, just get up one more time. Like, just, if you stand for your marriage, if you stand and you stay and you keep fighting, I'm going to make this worth your while. Like, he's going to become the man that like I've showed you in your head. Because God would give me visions of who you were. Like, you would go cheat and I would just be like, this is not who you are, man. Like, this is not you, you know? Like, I always knew your heart. And I was like, all right. And then I remember I told God, okay. And that morning is when you came home and said, okay, I want to give you all my passcodes. I want to go to barber school. I don't want to work at the club anymore. I'm going to break it off with her. I want to remarry you. I want to do it the right way. I want to make things right with you and God. But that night prior, yeah, like I wanted to end everything. Like, I not only wanted to end our relationship, like I wanted to just end everything. And then I walked into Christian's room and I was just like, I can't do that. I can't do that. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than me.
Sorry.
Why do we always end on these like freaking deep, sad?
That's the first time I seen you smile in a few hours.
Yeah, the irony in that, talking about wanting to die and then smiling.
Well, I am going to become the man that you seen.
You've been.
Nah,
Like,
I'll be better.
I just wanted you to stop cheating. Like, that's all I wanted and asked of God. And God was like, nah, you do this for me, just watch. Watch your life. And you completely changed. We had 2 more kids. I got, you know, great friends now. We're helping other people. So the pain was worth it.
So like I said, you're perfect.
Oh my God.
All right, wrap it up.
All right. I mean, that's it. So, transparency, heal individually so you can heal together, and then create a new vision for your relationship.
All right, see you in the next episode.
Keep fighting the good fight, man.
Don't fight each other. We don't battle against flesh and blood. Right? We're not fighting against each other right now.
Nope. And you got to remember, I think we talked about this in another episode too. It's not you two against each other. It's both of you against the problem or the problems in the relationship. And you're either going to work together and make it better, or you're not. You're not going to be together.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll catch you in the next episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what other topics you want us to cover. We'll be sure never to film late again because the energy is just...
Peace.